Star Wars Skeleton Crew received bad news after humiliating Nielsen ratings disaster. So this isn't really good for them. Welcome back to Views with Hughes, Culture and News. This is Jerome Hughes. Now, let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, let's be honest here. It seems like Star Wars Skeleton Crew is not quite hitting the mark, especially when, we look at the recent Nielsen ratings, okay? Now, as many of you know, you see, Nielsen ratings are just the industry standard, if you will, for measuring television viewership. Now, they give us, a pretty good idea of how many people are tuning in to watch a particular show or even like movies that's on television, even on streaming. Now, according to a recent article in Cosmic Book News, episode 3 of Star Wars Skeleton Crew failed to break into the Nielsen ratings for the week of December 9th through the 15th of last year, 2024. Now, this isn't just a one-time slip either. You see, the first 2 episodes of Star Wars Skeleton Crew also didn't make the charts, which is a first for a Star Wars series on Disney Plus. But to put this into perspective, even a show like AP Bio, which was canceled by NBC in 2019 due to poor ratings and later picked up again and canceled again by Peacock, managed to land at number 10 on the Nielsen charts with 306 million minutes viewed. Now, this means that Star Wars Skeleton Crew drew less than 306 million minutes of viewing time for its 3rd episode, and that's including the combined total for all 3 available episodes. Now, before we continue with this, I want you all to go ahead and smash the like button in this video if you enjoy what's being shared in it, and subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification so that way you'll be notified of future uploads and updates. So what exactly is going on here? Why are fans not tuning into Star Wars Skeleton Crew? Well, there's a few factors that might be contributing to it, and I'm going to share with you all the ones that are, reporting, and also the few that I think are happening. Now, first off, let's talk about the sheer volume of, the different Star Wars content that's been reported out there, that's been released over the past few years. Now, ever since Disney bought Lucasfilm, we've seen a significant increase in the number of Star Wars movies and shows as well. Now, while it sounds great to have more content, there's a risk of what they call oversaturation. That's when new Star Wars content is constantly being released. Each new installment, including Star Wars Skeleton Crew, that has to work that much harder to go ahead and stand out and capture the audience's attention. And unfortunately, it's similar to what Marvel has done and stuff when they put out there a lot of content and everything, as well as movies in one year in like phase 4 and stuff. They done a little bit too much and stuff to the point where people got tired of it. But we all know that's not the only issue right there. It's also the political messaging in these different movies and series. Now, in this show in particular, I didn't really see much of it, but they were definitely there. Okay. But another issue is like the decline in the quality of content as well. You see, when it comes to many fans have expressed disappointment with recent Star Wars movies and shows, feeling that they don't live up to the legacy of the original trilogy from George Lucas. You see, the article also mentions that the Acolyte, the previous Star Wars series, made the Nielsen charts with 370 million minutes for its 3rd episode, which would have topped the same December 9th through 15th chart at number 8. But the show not appearing on the charts shows how many fans have stopped watching Star Wars, even though among, loyal viewers, this show hasn't even generated the buzz that similar series did in their early days. Okay. And to some, this is a surprising development given the high expectations for the show like Star Wars Skeleton Crew from fans and critics alike. But that's what happens because like the only kind of thing that can go for it is Jon Favreau. But from what I saw in this series, it seems to me that Jon Favreau didn't have much control over it, let alone they probably didn't even have George Lucas to be there to consult. But when fans are bombarded with a constant stream of content, including a series like Star Wars Skeleton Crew, it can also lead to burnout. I'm gonna be honest here. The only burnout that I can see from this is like basically too many shows out there and movies out there that's been given a whole woke ideology. That's the only burnout that I'm seeing and that I'm getting from it. And many of y'all probably get the same thing as well. But they might start to feel like, watching Star Wars is more of a chore than an enjoyable experience. You see, this is especially true if the new content doesn't even offer something either fresh or even compelling to go ahead and keep them engaged. But I mean, let's be real. Unfortunately, Star Wars Skeleton Crew seems to have struggled to capture that vital spark. All right. And let's also not forget about the marketing as well as the promotion. Now, if a new series like this isn't marketed effectively, then potential viewers might not even be aware of its existence. Or if the marketing doesn't accurately represent, the content of the show, well, let's be honest, it can lead to mismatched expectations as well as disappointment. You see, Star Wars Skeleton Crew should have been positioned as a must-watch event, but it appears that message didn't even land. You see, the way Star Wars Skeleton Crew is promoted moving forward will be actually critical to its success. Now, we also have to consider the changing viewing habits of audiences. With the rise of streaming services, many viewers prefer to binge watch the series once all the episodes are available, the same way that Netflix does their shows. Now, this means they might wait until the entire season of Star Wars Skeleton Crew is released before they start watching, which could account for the low viewership numbers for the initial episodes. All right. Now, the creators of the show might need to rethink their release strategy in light of this trend, even Bob Iger himself. But perhaps releasing Star Wars Skeleton Crew in batches or with a stronger premiere event could have made a difference. Now, honestly, this show got less numbers than the Acolyte. I'm sensing a bit of a news of cancellation, if you will. And then there's also the factor of competition from other shows. With so many high quality series available, throughout different streaming platforms, I mean, viewers have more choices than ever before, okay? And Star Wars Skeleton Crew is not only competing with other sci-fi and fantasy shows, but also with content from different genres that might be capturing the audience's interest. Now, despite its Star Wars branding, you see, Star Wars Skeleton Crew hasn't managed to go ahead and just make sure to distinguish itself enough to pull viewers away from other big name series, all right? But another point to consider is that the disconnect between the creators and the audience. Now, if new content like Star Wars Skeleton Crew doesn't actually resonate with the core fan base, which some of them still remain, or fails to capture the essence of what made the original Star Wars trilogy so beloved, then fans might, lose interest. Now, it's also crucial for the creators to understand and respect the expectations and desires of the longtime fans while also trying to bring in new audiences, okay? Now, it's also worth noting that streaming metrics can also be complex and sometimes misleading. You see, Nielsen ratings are just one way to measure viewership, and they might not capture the full picture, okay? Especially with the whole global audience that, streaming platforms cater to. However, the fact that Star Wars Skeleton Crew failed to make the Nielsen charts is still a significant indicator of its performance in the US market. Now, the viewership numbers for Star Wars Skeleton Crew are just a key metric that Lucasfilm will need to address moving forward, okay? So, yeah, none of this is surprising at all, but what does this mean for the future of Star Wars franchise? Well, it's actually clear that something needs to change. You see, those who created the show and produced it need to take a step back and listen to the feedback from the fans. Not just this show, but also all the shows out there from different franchises. They need to focus on delivering high quality content that stays true to the spirit of the original trilogy, while also bringing in something new and exciting, hopefully, to the table. Now, Star Wars Skeleton Crew could serve as a point if lessons are learned from its performance. It's also possible that with the right adjustments, Star Wars Skeleton Crew could just even redeem itself over time. I mean, we will see about that though, but Star Wars has a rich and expensive universe with countless stories left to be told. Now, if the creators can tap into that potential and simply just deliver the content that actually resonates with both old and new fans alike, well, there's no reason why Star Wars Skeleton Crew and other future projects can't regain the franchise's former glory. Okay. And as fans, we also have a role to play. You see, we need to voice our opinions constructively and support the content that we believe stays true to the Star Wars legacy. Now, by doing so, we can help guide the franchise itself back on track, hopefully, and make sure that the future generations can enjoy the magic of Star Wars, including a series like Star Wars Skeleton Crew, as long as we remove Kathleen Kennedy from the picture, just as we have. Now, Star Wars Skeleton Crew's future can be influenced by the voices of its dedicated fan base. Now, the low Nielsen ratings for Star Wars Skeleton Crew should be a wake-up call for everyone involved in the Star Wars franchise itself. It's also a clear indication that the current approach isn't necessarily working and that changes need to be made. But with the right adjustments and a renewed focus on quality and authenticity, well, it may be possible that, Star Wars Skeleton Crew could become, like, have people to watch it and everything more. That Star Wars would actually carry on, and the Star Wars Skeleton Crew may be facing challenges right now, but hopefully, it's not too late for a course correction. All right, but all of this is done all thanks to Kathleen Kennedy. You see, even though she didn't have anything to do with the show, it's because of her that this show actually is failing, because people are tuning out. They're not tuning into it in large numbers as expected. No, it's because after the burnout from the Acolyte and stuff, as well as other previous Star Wars failures in the shows and movies, that's when people just decided to just go ahead and give up on the franchise entirely. There's even rumors and speculation that Disney may be cutting out, Star Wars to go ahead and focus on Marvel. Okay, but we will have to see about what happens later on. So let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Also, be sure to include any additional details or thoughts you may have on this particular topic. If you enjoy what was shared in this video, go ahead and smash the like button, share the video far across social media. And if you haven't done so already, enjoyed all the content that I put out there, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification, so that way you'll be notified of future uploads and updates. Till then, peace.